There's two sort of day one people. The people that come up, I was with you from day one. It's like, well, where were you on January 7th? Unlike Hunter Biden, we were actually business people before, like politics. This is what we kind of did. You can buy the stock now, and then in a couple months, we're going to merge that. It's going to become Pew, P-E-W. When we spoke yesterday, it had like $750,000 in it. Again, small business, but I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I think we got hacked.
This episode of the Colion Noir podcast is brought to you by Vetter Holsters. Welcome to another episode of Shot Show Colion Noir podcast. And joining me right now is Mr. Don himself.
What's going on, buddy?
What's going on? And Michael.
How's it going?
Doing pretty good. So we'll just jump into this because this is something that I've talked about ad nauseum, which is when I talk about how the anti-gun lobby is what I like to call the collective, right? The collective of politicians.
You mean like the Democrat Party? Yeah, I got it.
Pretty much, yeah. Exactly.
We're making inroads.
Yeah.
We'll keep it simple.
Well, one of the things they like to do, and I always say it's they go full circle, right? They don't just attack things legislatively; they attack things culturally, they attack things politically and financially.
Yes.
Right, and a lot of people don't really understand that,
and
but thankfully you do.
Yeah.
Especially considering what you got going on right now. So we're just going to jump into it because what a lot of people don't understand is there are a lot of businesses within the space who struggle because they can't get baking, they can't run their businesses because, by and large, a lot of these other institutions that they need to survive are essentially anti-gun.
100%, and that's a big part of my focus has not been just sort of setting up a government to actually be successful, but also doing the side on the private sector, right? Everyone, and by the way, it's not even the companies. I mean, individuals have been debanked, or they've been flagged, or they can't get insurance because they're a gun guy, or whatever it may be. And so, we're not just tackling it from the government perspective, but also from the private sector, making sure that those guys know that they have a home, that they can invest and support us. I think my father did a great job sort of opening the door for people to become unafraid. But, our side has rightfully, a lot to fear for a long time. I mean, 175 million Americans were left by the wayside where they weren't sure. And so I said, I don't know, it seems like a great business idea. Obviously, we have the financial sophistication. We, unlike Hunter Biden, we were actually business people before, like politics. This is what we kind of did. But my whole world has been, not just fighting that stuff politically, but actually not just complaining about a problem, but actually creating the solution. And so, we did that when we took Public Square public a couple of years ago. Then they brought Credova. That's going to be the entire, the gun space, the financing side, buy now, pay later options. And we're also doing it now with Grab a Gun, literally taking them public. That's going to be under CLBR, so it's like a SPAC structure where, you can buy the stock now, and then in a couple months we're going to merge that. It's going to become Pew, P-E-W. So
I saw that and I smiled. I was like, that's a hell of a ticker.
But so. Again, we're trying to create these solutions for people to understand that there are people actually fighting for the things that they believe in. They can get on board again. You can do it by buying Public Square now. You can do it by buying CLBR. A lot of great things there. And we've opened the door, but we need people to get behind it, right?
So that's the thing, though, too, because I know a lot of people, like you and I understand it just because we're kind of behind the scenes. So just kind of on the surface level for people to understand, like, what Credova does and Public Square, kind of break that down for them so that they understand, okay, how does this all fit in the grand scheme of things for them? All right. So I've got to give a quick shout out to Vetter Holsters. They're now sponsoring the podcast. I've been using their light tuck Kydex inside the waistband holster, and what I really like is how adjustable it is. You can tweak the ride height and cant to get it exactly how you want. Plus, they've got holsters for over 450 gun models in 75 different colors, so you can pretty much find whatever you need. But here's the thing that really sets them apart: their customer service. I've heard so many stories about how they've gone above and beyond to make sure you're happy with your holster. And with a lifetime warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee, it's clear they stand behind their products. If you're in the market for a great holster, check them out at betterholsters.com.
Yeah, so we started a marketplace originally full of businesses that stand for liberty. So these are businesses that had been canceled by other marketplaces in the past. They had a real value for freedom of expression, for life, for family, and they had no options in the consumer space to go out and reach their consumers, either because their advertising was restricted or they didn't have a real institutional backer that would support their growth as a business. And so we started this marketplace originally to connect them with millions of consumers that do value life and family and liberty. And we've created this marketplace. What we learned in the process was that we've got over 80,000 merchants now on the marketplace. They don't just need to reach the consumers. They need financial solutions. They need a tech stack that'll support their business growth. We talked to businesses who'd actually been canceled by north of 3 payment processors in a span of 24 months.
I hear that a lot.
It's absurd. And so if you're a business owner that's trying to grow your business, but you can't even sleep well at night because financial institutions don't even want your existence, we really saw a need to create a solution there where your checkout stack is protected. So we actually launched a payment company. We purchased an incredible buy now, pay later company called Credova, so you can actually finance firearms. You can now, anytime you check out on some of our
college.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I'd be racking up. My college debt would be different. They're like, why do you have a couple $100,000?
I still to this day, when I got into guns, I was in law school when I really kind of got into it and started buying guns. I don't know where the money came from to buy them.
But it always came.
It did.
Listen, I came from a family that had money, but I wasn't brought up as a trust fund kid, and no one else really shot. I was sort of the first one. My brother's a fanatic. All that, you know that as well.
Yep.
But it was like we were on our own, like trying to figure this out as kids from New York City, and so it took a little while. But I'm sort of glad it didn't exist at the time because I wouldn't have been able to invest in some of the deals I had. At the time.
I'd probably be in jail somewhere.
So we've got a marketplace to sell products. We've got a payments company to facilitate your transactions where you won't get canceled. And if you're wanting to help make the Second Amendment accessible to a broader tranche of Americans, we offer financing options. We do this so that you can actually have the entirety of the consumer and the merchant experience protected in a cancel-proof manner. It's needed more than ever.
So that's PSQH, right? And now with Grab-A-Gun and integrating all these systems, what we're doing is we're basically vertically integrating all these things left behind. When I got into this, Colion, I was a hotel guy, right? I built high-end buildings in like cities, so it was like I needed everyone to like me, but the second we put that R next to our name, got into the ring, I'm sort of a fighter, so that was all gone. I was like, oh my God, like I just lost half my market. But honestly, the reality is,
a lot of people don't realize that.
When you started fighting for something, I was like, wait, I got a much better business, concept. Having 175 million Americans that have been left by the wayside being like, thank you for fighting, than being just agnostic to 300 million. You know what I mean? It's so good. Yeah. So we're the first people to have the guts to actually start doing this new. Like, we're taking a gun company public. Like, think about that. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I smiled and I laughed at the same time because I was like, I like this.
But it's a different world now. It took the last 4 years of hell for people to finally understand. Like, even those like. And when you look at the gun space, it also took that last 4 years and COVID for people to be like, you know what? I may be pretty left on a lot of things, but I need a gun to protect myself. So we're looking at, as it relates to Grab-A-Gun, the tech stack. We're letting people buy guns the way they're used to buying everything else. Obviously, you still go through your FFL process. It's illegal, but like simplifying that so the tech stack's unique, and now we're able to go after that group of females or the group of younger gun buyers that don't think about going to their local store to buy anything because they haven't done that ever.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I know the interesting thing is I had a guy on my podcast before, and we were talking about cars. We were talking about trucks, Mopar, all that stuff, and towards the end of it, he was like, "Yeah, I got debanked." Yeah. He's like, I was like, how? He was like, I bought a gun on my credit card, and the credit card in the bank was like, you purchase firearms, like you're done. Get your cash out of our bank, and you're done.
Yeah, I had it even trying to get friends, family, whatever it may be, like try to get a mortgage. Like I'm like, well, we've got enough money in your bank to actually pay for it. We just want to finance some of it because why not? And they were like, well, we can't do that. I'm like, this isn't like it was a risky thing. It's like these are 7-figure people with like, and they couldn't get a couple $1 million loan on, when they got 10x that in the bank. It was sort of it was a real attack, and it wasn't just on, guys that may not be, 800 plus credit score people. It was across the board. It didn't matter. It was just an attack on anyone who believed in any of these things and was able and or willing to be vocal about it.
Yeah, which goes to show how deeply ingrained the anti-sentiment is.
Correct. Because
for someone of that stature, even on that level, right, to be denied just sheerly based on that ideology alone, it should tell a lot of people how serious they are about it.
Yeah, I started a media business called MXM News, and it was the same thing. We literally just aggregate news from all over. So if you want to see the New York Times, we'll show you both sides. And I was at like CPAC or whatever a couple years, 2-3 years ago, and they're like, my partner in the deal calls me. He's in a small business trying to start. But again, like guys like me are willing to actually fight this fight. They're willing to risk what seems like insurmountable odds at times to do it just to make sure it's out there. And my partner calls me like, the operating account has no money. And I go, well, when we spoke yesterday, it had like, like $750,000 in it. Again, small business. But I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I think we got hacked. We called the bank. we just don't want to do business with you anymore. There's a cashier's check in the mail. I'm like, well, how do we make this week's pay? You don't even tell it. Like, we didn't even. They broke up with us by like email. They didn't even call. It was brutal. So I was like, this has got to stop. So, that would be the kind of stuff that they throw out at you to get you to stop and get you to quit. For me, it made me just fight harder. It's like this can't happen in America at any time. But especially not now.
I absolutely love it. And one of the things that I know about you that a lot of people don't know is like you're a true and blue gun guy.
Yeah.
Right. Like we've had discussions before. We've talked. I remember the first time I spoke to you, I was like, yeah, this guy's a gun guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And my brother's the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
We're full nerd.
Yep. No, I love it. So for the people out there who like, what can they expect going forward in terms of the state of things with respect to the Second Amendment and what you may be in a position to do or not do in terms of?
Yeah, I'm out now, but I can be a loud voice. But but the reality is, for the last 3 months, I've been in the transition process every day, just picking the right guys. What we didn't know in 2016 was anything about who you could actually trust, who would be good. Right? People tell you what you want to hear, you believe it. Oh, this guy has an R next to his name, he must be good. That's not the case. I think, again, sort of like you needed the last 4 years to figure that out, right? There's two sort of day one people. The people that come up, I was with you from day one. It's like, well, where were you on January 7th?
Yeah, but
because if you weren't there, then it doesn't matter. And
your day one don't matter.
The concentric circles, Colion, between sort of loyal and competent are small. There's some great loyal people that may not necessarily be the best guys to get something done, and some guys that can get something done, but they're not loyal. And so, now we know who those people are, and we've stacked that government. So whether it's obviously Justice Department, whether it's the people will eventually be ATF or all the things that matter to us, like I think we got a great roster of people that actually understand our people, actually care about it, have the guts to actually fight, and so. I think you're going to see things around this time that we could have never imagined before.
I think you made a great point. Like the first 4 years, it's literally like you're given the reins to a corporation, and you're stuck with everybody there, and you don't know who really likes you, who really supports you, who really believes the things that you believe in. So you kind of have to filter and learn people very quickly. Yeah. And some people are chameleons, right?
Yeah, of course.
And you have to deal with that aspect of it. But now going forward, considering you guys have kind of gone through that hardship, I think
you see it. You see with the cabinet, different minds, but like all working together, all people, and they're trying to go after those guys because the swamp has teeth. But there's an understanding now of those people that they're not just kicking the can down the road, waiting it out. Yeah. They have ambition. They're willing to actually fight it. Those are the people we're putting into that place, and that's really important. And that didn't exist the first time around. Again, you needed the last 4 years of hell for not just for us to learn who those people are, but for America to wake up to understand exactly what's at stake. And again, it's why it's so important because hey. Everyone's a tough guy on the internet, and everyone's got a gripe. Not many people have solutions, and certainly not many people have solutions that are willing to put like the blood, sweat, tears, and like more importantly, perhaps the capital behind it, fighting for these things. So like for them, if they can invest in Public Square, if they invest in CLBR now, which will automatically turn into Pew, that's grab a gun. Like you guys can actually help support this stuff so that we can create that entire vertical integrated sort of, let's call it, red state economy. Behind all of these things, and that's what it's really doing. We're creating the solutions across the board, and next we'll get into the banking side, and next we'll get into this. That we can have a simultaneous parallel economy, just in case it ever happens again. Hopefully it doesn't, but in the event that it does, like you guys can buy into that right now. You guys can be a part of that problem, not just not just complaining about it, but then going back and supporting some leftist organization that will put you in the gulags next to me if they had their way, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of this.
Yeah,
well, it's lazy. I can hit one button. I've been doing it for a while. I'm like, but these people hate you. Like, it's fine. If you want to do that, I get it. It's America. Yeah. But please don't be bitching about then all the times that they trample all over you, right? You got to kind of pick a pony.
Nope, absolutely. So for the businesses out there, the people out there who do want to support, who do want to help in any way, or just become involved in some fashion, where can I direct these people?
Yeah, right. I mean, right now, if you have some sort of E-Trade account, you can literally buy CLBR. Okay. That's what's going to turn into Pew. That's the grab a gun deal. You can buy PSQH. Those are the two tickers. Those are separate companies, obviously, but integrated in terms of the technology, the payment stake ecosystem, and sort of the same overarching team. Me, I'm on the board. I'll be on the board of both. The guys that helped take it public. A couple guys that were former Democrats, meaning like voted for Hillary in 2016, and were like, but watched and saw and like sort of came to the conclusion on their own, like, wait a minute, these people don't believe in these freedoms. They don't. And got sick of it. And now, I mean, they're more red-pilled than anyone. And so it's
happens,
awesome
right?
to see. And you need a little bit of that because you need the understanding. And so, it's great. Like, I look at it, I can't believe more people aren't jumping onto it, but everyone else is You see, everyone's a weakling, right? Everyone's a badass. Like I said, you know, they can
behind
put out
the
a
keyboard,
tweet, but
yeah.
put up some money.
Yeah.
You know, that's a little different. And so we're trying to do that to make sure that these things are going there and they're forward, and they'll be there forever.
Well, and I'll tell you, if you're a business owner, you asked the question about the admin earlier. If you're a business owner, if you're an FFL, like, go build right now. You have air cover. You've got an actual administration that loves the Second Amendment. You've got a whole movement of folks now that are wanting to create this ecosystem and provide you wind in your sails. Like, there's never been a better time as an American entrepreneur to go build. We've got a golden age on our hands. That's how we feel. We're really grateful to be in the heart of it and be this central ecosystem with amazing companies like Grab a Gun and Public Square and Credova and all the companies here at SHOT Show. I mean, the energy that we feel here, it's different and it's unparalleled. And I really feel like, especially we're going to celebrate 250 years of our nation's founding.
By the way, Trump as the guy overseeing those ceremonies, that like I don't mind that they moved the thing indoors this week, because I was like, I got off that plane after living in Florida. I'm like a little softer than I used to be in terms of temperature. I was like, I called his chief of staff. I was like, listen, can we keep his speech under 90 seconds? Because it's like that's about as long as I'll be able to stay out there. But him overseeing that, I think is also going to be incredible. But more importantly, what I've seen since Election Day. You know, I hear about it, big deals, M&A, all the guys I know in that world on Wall Street, because I'm sort of one of the few guys that sort of bridges both of those, gaps, like the regular guy, the retail guy, as well as sort of corporate America, and saw it for so many years. But the amount of like the small businesses that are out there being like, hey man, like we're building a new store. We're expanding. We're doing. These people were sitting on the sidelines, being like, we just can't do that because we're not sure how badly we're going to get taxed. We're not sure how badly we're going to get overregulated. People are now actually being entrepreneurs again and like taking a chance in the economy, and that's what it's all about. And so I'm super psyched about what that means for our country, for our future, for my children. I think it's just epic.
No, absolutely. I watched it. I was watching where people were just starting businesses, company, and then it just hit this brick wall.
Yeah, it just stopped.
And just
it all
shut
just
down,
stopped.
Right? Because you can't, there's no foundation to build on.
Correct.
Right? And now the way I see things going is like there's a beautiful foundation to build pretty much anything you want within this space now.
Correct.
And do it with some level of confidence that you otherwise wouldn't have had, 10 years ago?
Yeah, and listen, we have a lot of crap that we have to fix after the disastrous 4 years, and honestly, even for the last 100 years, right? Yeah. But the only way we're going to do that is with actual growth, with actual innovation. And so to have someone in there that's actually pro-growth, pro-innovation, not just pro-regulation or, excessive nonsense that their buddies in D.C. are getting rich on because they make a rule that some small business or some small gun manufacturer can't possibly comply with, I think everyone has a chance. We want people to be able to thrive, not barely survive. Absolutely. And, this is that window.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
I appreciate
for
it, man.
everything
Great to
you're
see
doing
you,
with it.
as always.
I love it, man. I love it.
Look forward to seeing you soon, bud.
You too?
Appreciate you.
So,
Thank you.
there you have it. Go ahead. Go invest. Dude, stop watching. You're just wasting our time.
Get it out of there.
One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now, you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together, we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.